It was intentional.
Honestly. So who is going to bail the cat between us?
Welcome. That's what it is normally. Welcome everyone.
So they do like this.
No.
Welcome.
Me, I always do that one because hungry they catch me, so I try to give myself small ginger. Welcome everyone. It's Say My Peace, the beautiful podcast where you come to listen to your peace being said, So my name is Ogbolor, as some of you know sabi me, and every. Of course, we do this. I do this with my friend, my enemy, my colleague, my sister, my auntie,
Where go they talk?
But let's see which other qualification to give you now. It will come. That one will come. Lolo, one of every. It's me here.
Welcome.
Make I add my mother join.
Well, mommy is still alive, so I won't take her place.
You know me.
Yeah. Welcome. Thank you so much for the engagement. Thank you so much for your comments, for your likes, your shares. We expect you to do more of it. We're digging into ourselves to bring you, great content, great conversation, drive great conversations for you. So I beg, make una dey help us to be able to help una.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get it?
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into today's discussion.
Yeah. I mean, all the discussions we've been having so far have been pretty engaging.
Very, because there's so many things. We cannot even exhaust the things that we can talk about.
Yep.
And between us, I believe that we're able to delve into some very interesting conversations. So what are we talking about today?
All right. So today we're going to be... all the guys and ladies, listen up. So today we're talking about a conversation out there right now with the odds. And a lot of ladies seem to be asking. Why are the men not getting married anymore? And it feels very personal because I'm not married myself, and everybody seems to ask me that particular question. Why are you not married?
I was just going to ask it. Why did you take it out of my resume,
my resume? Because
okay, let me ask you, because I don't have time for nonsense.
Yeah.
I've known you for at least, give and take, I've known you for like 15.
About that.
Yeah, about 15 years. Yeah. We should get a friendship ring.
We should do friendship anniversary.
I tell you.
Yeah, we don't try.
Yeah. So why are you not married, Ogbolor? Because you are close to me. I should ask you. Because one, I know your capacity. You can't tell me you are not mentally ready. You can't say you are not financially ready. You can't tell me that you are not socially ready. Or you can't even tell me that, you can't find a good woman. Because all those kinds of, excuses, for me, it doesn't hold any water.
Yeah.
Or do you have spiritual problem? Because I've heard of people that say you can actually have spiritual problem.
Yeah.
That when women look at you, they see masquerade. They see winch. They see wizard. They see ugly person. So what's all those things?
For me, I'm searching now, so eventually I'll find.
Oh, now you just start to search.
No, I never tell where I started to search that search.
Yes,
now. Because I was in a mental phase where I did not want to date for a period, you get. Because I believe anybody who is supposed to get in a relationship, you must be mentally ready. Yeah. So I wanted to be very, very mentally ready. And of course, emotionally ready for that next level. But
girls, Shebi, you see what's in they talk. There are so many men that you see that look like they are stately, they are together, but they still have a lot of issues in their kettle. I know that a lot of men will say, I don't want to marry for some of the reasons I said earlier on, but I found out that that's not the reason why some of them don't want to get married. They have many other issues.
Like what?
The fact that men have just become more effeminate.
When you say effeminate,
they are letting their feminine side take over their masculine side.
When you say their feminine side take over their masculine side,
should I say
now,
men are emasculating themselves? Because I like use English, make people forgo dictionary learn.
What do you think that is the issue actually?
It's not like the issue,
or
one of the issues. Because let me not lie to you. Men and boys have been separated in recent times or in the last couple of years. In the olden days, men could hide behind a lot of things.
Yeah.
But now, it's only real men that can stand up and be counted. Because a man that cannot man himself, how can he want to man a home? So there are a lot of babies masquerading as men. I want to believe that's why many of them are not getting married.
But then you said a lot of men before. Now, that particular thing also helped men to the average woman, that is a man. who does not show his emotions and everything, now that is a man. But what we now found out as time went on is that it also had its negative effect on men. Right now, men, the suicide rate for men is higher than that of women. So it means that a lot of men, in the bid to wanting to look like men, have actually also masqueraded their emotions to the point where depression sets in very quietly. It's quiet there. That's why a lot of men, you see that men can become loners all of a sudden. Because men deal with stuff personally. Because again, as we grow up, men have been told from time, to be a man, don't show your emotions. As kids, men will be told, don't cry. You be man, chest down. You know, if you see a man even saying stuff or probably arguing with a woman, another man will tell the man, Baba, I would say, what are you now? Why do you talk like a woman now? You be man now, chest down. Now, all this chest down have gotten a lot of men into depression because how won't you express? So over time, what we said that, okay, our fathers used to do back then that made them look like men, eventually started affecting men negatively because a lot of our fathers too, let's go back in time. Many of them were not emotionally connected to their kids. They just took the place of being providers, but did not connect. As time went on, women needed that thing, needed men to become a bit more romantic, become a bit more softer, don't be hard.
Are you kidding?
Men started doing that. So the same women started calling the same men effeminate. Well, so at the end of the day, what do women really want if we want to look at it?
The thing is, a lot of times, gender roles have become, it has become blurry lines. Because while we grew up, there were things that were attributed to men. But in these recent times, unfortunately for the men of these days, and honestly, I, Omotunde Adebowale David, I empathize with men. Because what they are dealing with in this time, I'm not sure many of them are prepared for it. But it's not any woman's fault most of the time. A lot of women have just come into their own selves, which never used to be. A lot of our mothers were okay with a little bit of shrouding here, a little bit of timidity, a little bit of quietness, a little bit of over-submissiveness, that many of them actually mortgaged their dreams to keep their homes. But the women of now don't do that, cannot do that. I had a very interesting conversation with two women, I will not mention their name because they are my girls. And one of them said, a guy is asking her out. She has been talking to him on phone just 2-3 times on phone. The guy is already telling her, I love you. She said, no, that's already a red flag. The other one said, of course. One even asked me on a date, and he was saying that, I'm just so awed by you. If my friends know that I'm talking to you, they'll be so like, wow. I, as a woman, had to call them to caution. That you know that, please be softer for some of these men. At least allow their baby to thrive a little before you can now put some maturity in them. A lot of men do not have sense these days. Because I'm still going somewhere. You have to have sense that is different from the sense of old. Because the species of woman you are dealing with now, they are not like your mother. I, as a person, when I saw the way my mom was, I vowed that I will never be like my mom. Because there were so many things she took that she had no business taking. She had dreams, she never realized one. Ogbolor, I mean one. To aside us as children, which were her pride and joy. That was where she latched on. But the women of these days, they want to achieve. They want to do things. They believe that there should be equity now. What a man can do, a woman too can do. It doesn't mean that because you're a man, that's what gives you an edge. The fact that we are pushing patriarchy, that's why many of you are now hiding your purse under your armpit and refusing to marry. Is that my fault? You men have to step up to the times that we are living in and stop masquerading behind, they say we should not do this. Even the women that you are saying that, men have faced a lot of trauma. Trauma is what made us this.
But again, so what you are saying now is this, because I totally get the angle you are coming from. You understand? But I don't think it's that more men have become foolish or whatever it is. You get? Everybody's responding to trauma. Unfortunately, every gender just wants to talk about their own and does not really care about the other gender's traumas. Now, women want to say, we've been traumatized. Our mothers were suffered. They suffered our mothers were suffering, blah, 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 blah. Fine. We as the men of today as well have also seen that our fathers became depressed. Our fathers also, in the bit wanted to provide for the home,
in the patriarchy of old.
Wait first.
What depressed them?
Yes, listen. I mentioned something earlier. You said something in a particular episode that we had before, that today over knowledge is part of what is our problem. In the past, we didn't have so much knowledge. Today we have too much knowledge. Now people cannot even find the balance. So the women today, now my question is, as much as most of you actually want men to be a bit more vulnerable, which is the thing that many women are talking about today, as much as many of you actually want men to be a bit more vulnerable, are the women ready for vulnerable men? It's another question. Because it's one thing to raise the average woman today to become a woman of her own, chase your dreams, try to achieve one or two things out there, which is beautiful. We're not arguing with that. But how many women have also been taught how to find the balance between achieving your dreams and also being a woman to a man? So that balance also needs to come in. Unfortunately, like I said before, the next gender doesn't want to hear about the other gender struggles. If more women sit down right now, I've had this done to me by several ladies. And this also tells you that women, this is why I say that are women ready for vulnerable men? At the end of the day, whatever it is that you become vulnerable to a woman about, for example, most of the women, because they're emotional beings, eventually use it against men. So how would you still have men become vulnerable or become a bit more emotional and still want him to stand like the way your fathers used to stand? We must, as we are beginning to transit from the times of our parents into the times now, the men are changing. And okay, fine, becoming a bit more softer. Of course, I agree. There are some men who have become weaker, too soft and too weak. Those are other adjectives. But then, men are changing to at least find balance. More men today are more romantic than our fathers. More men today buy roses and all of that. More men today, excuse me, will go out there, buy chocolates, do XYZ for women. At the end of the day, more men today spend for women. More men today, even the men who have side chicks, take care of main chick, still fund side chick. So more men are doing stuff today. I don't want to talk about the negative or the positive side. So men are changing. Women too are changing. Can we find a balance?
You know, balance is something that is a utopia feeling. That means something that all of us think of as an ideal space. Unfortunately for me, from all I have seen, the world we're living in is changing us too.
Yeah.
So whether we like it or not, that thing that you talked as balance is very, very, very difficult to achieve. I told those two ladies, I said, for women to marry these days, to find men to choose, it will take a lot. Because if you are asking us to take vulnerable men, I would tell you stories of women who have allowed vulnerable men. But these vulnerable men, after they have been empowered, they became another species altogether.
But are there still not men who have been empowered who did very well too? I think a lot of times we speak too much of the men who have failed.
Yes. But
as opposed to the men who have actually done well.
I can tell you, I know men who are vulnerable with their women and they are great. But you see, every individual that I meet now, especially when people come to me for counseling, I try to deal with every situation per couple, per time.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately for us, no two situations are alike.
Yeah.
I know a guy, he's such a great guy, Ogbolor. Sweet, wonderful, appreciative, supportive, but he's lazy. He has this superwoman who looks at him every day and tells me like, Lolo, look at my man. He doesn't mind being a house husband. But if I allow that, it is still the same people that will come and say I'm the one who has taken his manhood from him. They will never know that this is his choice. Because we need to be open about it. There are men that want to occupy a vulnerable space and allow a woman be like the head.
It's the times that we are in now. Because again, there are a number of women who also want that. Because now women are doing
you said we should talk about something that is a bit unusual.
Yeah.
But if a man chooses that, even his gender will say that there is something. In Africa that we are, it took a lot of traveling abroad for people to even allow men or be able to hear it that men can wash plates, men can contribute to the upkeep of a house. It took a lot of mingling with, checking other cultures to know that those things are permitted. But here in Africa, if your father is in the kitchen making amala for the family and your mother is there in the parlor. Everybody would think she's a witch, and women have suffered that. So there are so many gray areas that it is only individuals that can determine what the rules of their home can be. I have met a man who is a house husband. Unfortunately, they don't live in Nigeria.
Okay.
I cannot lie to you. He says he doesn't have... I spoke to him like this. He said, Lolo, I no fit do wahala. He says, I am created to be taken care of. He says, I know that I'm not usual, and my wife understands. He said, there are two things I offer her. I make sure our bedroom is, my A game is A plus. I take care of the home, and I take care of the children. And I work from home when I can. And she takes the bulk of the... And whether you like it or not, this couple, I'm telling you, they've been married for 12 years.
He's been working
they have
for them.
3 children. And because they live abroad.
He's been working. And nobody puts mouth to say...
And the rule of their home is that their parents don't visit. They will come to Nigeria once in a while, but their parents don't come because that is something a bit unusual. They might not understand.
So they are keeping it away from people.
Exactly.
But look, you spoke about women who have, one way or the other, tried to, have that kind of dynamic where they are the ones doing, and then eventually the man became a nuisance.
Yeah.
Right? I also want to talk about the women who, on the flip, right? When men have also become like, okay, let me allow this woman thrive and become all that she wants to be, right? Because in the times of old, fine, a lot of our mothers, were not, they didn't have that opportunity to achieve their own goals and achieve their own dreams.
Yeah.
A lot of men have also given women opportunities, or also tried to help women. In fact, establish a lot of women as well, because we must also speak of men who have done well. I have a problem with the fact that we overly celebrate the men who have not done well and never celebrate men who do well. A lot of women don't come out to say, my husband is fantastic.
I know there are women that say it.
Yes, but I'm just saying, you hardly hear, some women will tell you, I'm protecting my own, no, make I no go shout time, so they know come put aside for my gari.
That one day.
So it's making more
prominent the negative narrative.
You understand? We're silencing it. So it really makes the negative look like, But then where I was heading to with that talk was, a lot of men have also done this in the lives of so many women. But also, the woman became empowered and became a monster.
Yeah.
Became someone that you cannot talk to, became sarcastic, became terrible.
Yeah, I know.
So there are also those narratives as well, on the other hand. So because if they look this side, maybe they look this side too.
I agree.
A number of men today have also become, because again, back to the question, why are men not getting married today? Because men today are also beginning to see that they're not to send marriage. Because again, a lot of men will tell you, I don't gain anything in marriage. Even some men who work wait now, a lot of men who work so hard in marriages, in that union, children come, they work, they do, they provide, they are there, they make sure that at least everybody is taken care of. I'm not talking of the men who are nuisance, the men who actually do what they need to do, right? But at the end of life, later...
A man that does well can never say that they don't gain anything from marriage.
Wait now, I'm heading somewhere. At the end of the day, have you seen that more men now are beginning to warn their children that when we get old, it's not only your mother that knows how to come and flex at old age. I've been paying your school fees. At old age too, you must come and celebrate me. More men are beginning to speak up on these issues now. Because over time, because the mother was the one who nurtured, who took care of the children, and everybody has their role to play. Because before now, of course, mother, stay home, take care of the home, take care of the children. Father, go outside, provide. Everybody understood their roles. They both had their negative consequences.
Yeah, because the women gender roles have been switched.
So now, society has changed. Everything has changed. Everybody's beginning to change. But at the end of the day, they pass most of the, accolades to the mother, and almost none to the father, who practically, most fathers too never really achieved their goals too. In trying to provide for family. Most men did not achieve their goals, so let's not think about it too.
As for me...
When man receive money like this, go half and half, wife this one, children that one.
Yeah,
Papa don't go even buy clothes for himself.
I can totally understand that, because I occupy 2 roles. I'm not father to my children, but I take,
at least take the responsibility.
I'm their only parent that is visible. Yeah. Let's say that. So I understand you. I know that there are some women, they are born witches. no matter what you do.
Some don't even know until they're empowered.
Well. They can never do well. And I always say that in every generation, there are people that are called ingrates. Of course, people that they'll say that once life gets better, they forget yesterday.
Yes.
Of course, there are people like that. But most of these times, most of the people that behave like that, just like you said, they are responding to some kind of trauma. I know some women that will tell you that, and do you know that money actually helps you know who you are?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
It reveals your real self.
It reveals a lot.
Yeah.
There are some women that is the empowerment of their lives and the fact that they are now self-sufficient, that the beast in them will now come alive and they want to oppress somebody's son. Those are, I would say, exceptions too. So I'm not going to stand here and tell you that, there are no women that are wicked. I know women that are very wicked. In fact, I know a woman that used to steal her husband's money. She would take all the money. They used to have like a joint account. The wife would siphon all the money inside. The man would be left impoverished, always complaining. And she would come outside and be saying, hey, see what he's doing. Those are exceptional situations that sometimes, let me even shock you, it defies any reason. That's why sometimes in Africa, this juju and black magic, it thrives. Because there are some behaviors that are just abnormal. I know a woman, her husband provides everything, and she still cheats on him with their driver.
Yeah, with their driver.
Yes, with their driver. And you would look at her and say,
what is this?
Mama? Even if you want to step out of your home, can't you go far? But that is who they are.
There are some who are.
But the men of this generation that are refusing to marry, there are so many things I can highlight. Financial difficulties.
That was coming there.
Because financial difficulties.
Yeah.
And I cannot blame any woman. Look at somebody that I know, one of the young ladies I know in our circle. She's been flying abroad. She goes on at least one international holiday every year. She now fall in love with an Okoko boy. No, I just said real love.
Okay.
You are not telling
because
me
sometimes this love will they go find you women. Sometimes that will be no problem.
Now,
they carry
they say love is blind.
No.
But now you see, you say now the love is blind. Before in our olden days they'll say you can find love anywhere. Now, please find love in Ikoyi. Find it in Lekki. Find it in some places in Aja. Maybe not expensive. You can find love reach there. But once you are nearing Yanokpaja, you better make sure that the love doesn't cross. Because that's what some people will say. And she will tell me that this boy says he likes her, and he does honestly. And he's working. Let me not lie to you. He's a teacher. How much is he earning? You see that his love. Wage. No matter how much he says he loves that high-flying girl, he can never walk.
Yeah.
Even if she brings herself to that situation. I know some actresses in my time that went to marry a guy that is living in Yanokpaja. The guy ended up beating the shege out of her because her life was moving forward. She doesn't understand why you are like this. When I'm doing this and I'm seeing results, and you are here. He's like an aberration. And every time he sees her, he's like, how can your life be better than mine? But they married from two different stratas.
Which originally shouldn't
I know people come for me. I am one of those, and I say it to the camera, that believe that it's good to marry within your circle.
Finish. Yeah.
Honestly, it saves you headache. Yeah. It saves you heartache. It saves you money ache. Tailor, marry Tailor. So that while I know they.
We're not going to expect to
I don't have aspiration beyond one room. It's okay. Marry a lady that doesn't have aspiration beyond one room. But you can't marry a high flyer. Somebody that wants to be the next CBN president. And you want to tell me that you want to remain an ordinary accountant in a sole proprietorship business.
Yeah.
How much can you ever earn?
Yeah.
And when that woman now becomes a monster, they will say she's disrespectful.
I think that most men in this area, based on what you just said, which I agree totally. So there are men, I was having that conversation with a guy today. There are men who they want to bite more than they can chew. You literally
should we give example? Because people like example. Remember one certain somebody that married a certain girl.
Yeah.
See them. One like story gone. Both of us know these people. From the day I went to their wedding, I knew wahala day.
Yeah.
From the decor I saw, I knew that this decor is millions.
Immediately we walked in.
And I know these two people say, where this money? But this one, they lie to this. This one, they give this one false life.
Yeah.
So they entered into the marriage on bese. You know when they say bese, when they cripple. As they are dancing like this, you see the shoulder of the guy going down like this. You think he's doing pakuruma, kojo, dada? No. When he's looking into the congregation, you see 7 people that he has borrowed 1 million from.
And those one they drink, oh,
they drink say you are lying. They look at it. But both of us know these people.
Yeah.
Of course.
It didn't last.
I didn't need it. Now they will come and tell us that Ayelo Batinwoje, it is the enemy that scattered their marriage. No. It is foolishness on both sides.
But then,
that scattered their
which
marriage.
now brings me to where I was going to with that particular discussion. Now there is society that has also changed a number of things. Part of the reason why some men too, like you mentioned, don't want to get married is financial reasons, right? Now, financial reason is the sense that now, of course, there are men who have just become totally lazy.
No, don't say they are.
Those one
they
they
are
did.
A lot.
All right?
This is high.
But now I'm speaking about men who somehow it's not as easy for men financially as it is for women.
Yeah.
Today, a woman can just put on her status, I want to eat shawarma. You may have 5 to 10 guys who will run and send a box of shawarma to your house.
Wow, I need to
As
try
your own,
it.
you try it now. You see, Lolo, there are probably 1, 2, 3 guys that you may call now
Please,
who may be able to assist you one way, even if they're 5K. Now, that is a woman's life. A man, just put that same thing on your status. I want to eat shawarma. And your fellow guy will say you the craze. Or guy, you will not find help. Now, let me bring it to regular, even for financial support. When we did my 40th birthday with myself and my twin sister, do you know, after all the celebration and the party and everything, my twin sister made almost 4 million from gifts.
Yes.
And no make 5,000.
It depends on your circle.
It's not necessarily about circle. It's almost like a natural thing. Women find help easily. People come to the aid of women easily. So now bringing that now to finances, it also affects men on a broader platform. You know, most men right now, by the time 5 people go inside somewhere to go, get a job, I've had some of my HR female friends who tell they'd rather take a woman than men. So those things are beginning to also play in.
Yeah.
Now, on the other side, too, there are also women today who are just anything before you talk 1, 2, give me money. And see the other one last time I was saying 20 million. 9 man go take. Some days back, I'm not even going to lie about this one self. I just met one babe. I never give you this gist. We're just gisting at my friend's event.
That was shame me.
We're gisting at my friend's event. And we just had the regular talk. In less than 5 days, this girl buzzed me and told me I should give her 30,000 to add to her tea fare. Now, my response immediately, which I will not usually do, my responsibility was, we just met. That was my first line. Because it did not ring well for me. This is not me being selfish. This is not me saying I don't get to give her. But how can we just meet and the next thing you say 30,000? And if I start with 5K, we'll start somewhere first. At least, make I even receive what I'll go send and give you. I'm not a stingy person. But this just tells you where society is now. So for the men on the other side too now, a lot of men are thinking, more, I have to... Maybe your father married when he didn't have money and your mother was able to stay. But men today are changing now also. So now the men will say, okay, rather than look like my father who,
was a non-entity at that time.
At the end of the day, Baba no try. I rather make all the money before I put in a woman into the house. And all the money is coming. No. Times are still going.
Yeah.
But it's a major factor. Women are a bit more demanding financially today.
No, I totally,
not every woman, though.
No, I totally buy. No matter how we argue this argument, we're going to have pros and cons on both sides.
Yeah.
I always tell men that no matter how you think your finances is, there's always somebody within that circle for you. But unfortunately for all of us, everybody wants to eat the frog that has egg inside. So that always puts us at a disadvantage. And when you talked about vulnerable men, I know many men that would never come clean to the women they date. I've met people that have told me, oh, I'm so comfortable, I'm this, I'm that. Okay, I'll tell you a story. One of my friend's sister, not my own sister, my elder sister. So this person I'm telling the story is probably in her 60s now. This guy came from America to marry her in that time. Everything she asked for, the guy gave. You can imagine, maybe you test him. I want diamond ring.
Yeah.
He provide them.
Yeah.
I want diamond chalice. Provide them.
Yeah.
I want camel. Buy them. So she felt the guy was very, very well to do.
Yeah.
So she upped her game, which is good for any, like me. Test me with a holiday. I know where I'm going to go.
I want test us.
I know. So, but, Ogbolor,
Yeah.
the irony of this thing be say, the guy never complained or did anything. When they got back to America, he relocated her. In fact, they had married like 3 weeks after their wedding. They said the man beat shaggy bastard out of her. That she was greedy. That how can she be making such demands? That now that she's in America, that she will work and return every single kobo that he spent. He gave her a detailed list of
all the things that he has spent on her.
every single thing he bought. Unfortunately for her, she was pregnant at that time. She gave birth to twins. She had to work, Ogbolor, to pay him. And when she finished paying, he kicked her out. After about I think she was married to him for like 2 or 3 years, so that she can offset her debt. And the man said it is because she was greedy. That even though he was giving, that why couldn't she hold herself back and not be? But that one felt like, wow, God has blessed me.
With a free giver.
With a giver, a man that is financially capable. Look at that weird story.
Yeah.
So sometimes, Ogbolor, it's not the woman. It's the way you appear. When I look at you like this, Ogbolor, the only thing I dey wait be say, make I ask my brother how we go take pay Ronla Simi school fees. The way you look. But many men, I have met a lot, they will never say to their women what their real state is.
Because men too, they fear now.
But if you say this woman is the person I want to be with, is it not better that you see her behavior before marriage enter?
No, of course, it's better you do that. But again...
than give her false hope.
Again, so many things have come into play in stuff like this. There are also men who have also, shown themselves and became the ridicule. Because, Lolo, see, if we talk this thing, let's also talk about the women who actually have made men. Do you know how many men have been traumatized by women who treated them badly?
No, me, I would
But a lot of men have not really said. Yesterday, a friend of mine was telling me how he invested so much with his ex-fiancée that he even went to, I think, one other state, I think it was Ogun State or so. And when they got there, he got a land, and then both of them, then I think she added 30% of her money. He brought 70%, and then they bought a land to start to, I think, plant. There was a part.
Do some farming.
Yeah, some farming. So at least both of them can make money. Do you know, at the end of the day, this girl just woke up one day, went behind him, falsified papers, changed everything. At the end of the day, she jobbed him. He tried to fight for everything, but because she's a lawyer by profession, one way or this, she was able to just do 1 or 2 things. He just gave me like a summary of the entire thing. He's my age mate, he's also not married, but he was telling me of that trauma and what that thing did to him. He said he lost so much money. Now he cannot farm, he cannot go to the farm. Now the girl has taken everything. So at the end of the day, she used and take, collect investment,
but
run.
Whether we like it or not.
So there are two sides to this whole thing at the end of the day.
Agree
but Lolo, here's what I want to say. A lot of men too are also scared because of a lot of gist outside there. And I think this issue...
there's one I want to say that is not regular.
Oh, yeah, no.
Sexual capacity.
Sexual capacity.
I don't want to say it because of people that...
Okay, what angle are you coming with?
Sexual capacity.
That most men are not... Or what?
A lot of... For those that are doing cunnilingus before marriage, there have been a lot of testimony that a lot of brothers cannot fire long. So the ladies are like, liability.
Okay, Lolo, don't
you not get money, you not sabi fire. Why am I here?
Okay, but again, because as true as that thing may sound, at the same time, don't you also think that many women have been oversexed?
Why are you looking at me?
No, wait now. Because sometimes you talk, say, if you, for example, if your own appetite too big, and then you now meet somebody who has normal appetites, and that is the problem today. Some women today now are using sex toys. And what a sex toy... No, it's not to help the man's inadequacies. In a lot of cases, it's to help your own personal long throat the hungry you.
Really?
See, Lolo, if as a guy, for example, if I masturbate and I masturbate a whole day, whole day, I just finish all my.
Hospital.
I masturbate a whole day. Then along the line,
but there are people that have problems. So.
No, some guys are like that now. Anyway, bedroom, understep, every.
Yeah, it's a mental problem.
You now meet a woman who her own is her regular sex life. Not be saying big. Now both of them are come marry now. The guy say fire down. 24 hours. Where are you going? Where are you coming? As the woman just bend down to just turn the back. As the woman just say make she pray.
Wow.
As the woman just say make she sleep. Yeah. As they sleep for me, that just yeah. Now it's not the woman's fault. Baba, your appetite is too much. So let's reverse it too. But women today have used sex toys to the point where they expect a man to be firing down like a machine that they've been using to take care of themselves. So that is a problem on its own.
I know you will talk about
how you go. One woman was saying last time, say, any man don't do 2 hours. That's flying to Abuja and flying back. We'll fly, go Abuja, fly, come back. You sit on top woman. Why?
That's extreme.
So when we're talking about sexual appetite,
there are many things that go with. And honestly, we need to talk about this because we're mature adults. I want to believe that those that are listening to this particular one, you are an adult. You know, when it comes to these things, I know that there are some people that are vulnerable. They do not have a lot of experience and understanding. And whether we like it or not, they have a lot of religious... You know, Nigerians, Africans, we tend towards religion. And a lot of the religion will say abstain. And many of these men would now, because they are abstaining, they would wipe their own hands till they have disempowered their own members. And a lot of women...
For those of you who don't understand, who masturbate, they can no longer
do... And a lot of women would increase their own capacity by themselves that nothing normal satisfies them. But why is it that sex talk in Africa is like taboo?
It's where we are coming from now.
If anybody wants to, like this,
our parents made us feel like
I
that.
think it is a subject of discussion.
We'll have it another day. Yeah.
I know a man, I won't lie to you, they have been married, they are my friends. They have sex calendar. They have sex 4 times in a month.
4 times a month.
And it works for them.
Okay.
They have 3 boys, and they have been married for, let's say, 12 years.
But I hope none of them is eating outside.
Not really. If you see both of them, they are both bankers. But they said they don't have the capacity for gizga. They just do it, let it not be like it wasn't registered.
So be with your type.
That's where I'm going.
Because me...
Find a fellow fireara. Hey. So these are conversations that...
Or if you meet fireara, we see be up and coming. Are you willing to learn?
Because are you a good teacher?
Are you a good teacher?
Can you allow her to pass
because there are people today, they've been nursing fantasies. Time me join burglary proof.
Someone you know. It's just that his podcast, and I don't like to cast people. He was the virgin. The wife wasn't. She had a baby for him. She ran away from home and begged him in a letter that she can't cope.
Because he was not...
Baba was not just understanding what happens there.
Hi.
And sister has been about... She said instead of her making him miserable, that it's better he go and marry another naive person we're not too sabi. So that both of them can be doing kpake and they are okay. So these are the conversations why some men are not even willing to marry. Because they are probably ashamed to discuss that, I'm a 2 minutes man, no, he don't mean no more. And the sister will say, okay, I don't mind. I'm myself. I'm not a spaghetti person. I like Indomie. There are people like that.
Yeah.
But because you are not even willing to have those conversations, they hide behind. And they continue to wipe their hand until they are totally irrelevant and useless to their partners.
But in coming Lolo, in coming to bring these things to the table, where we have to have this kind of conversations, I think that this is what I mentioned earlier. Women are also ready. I think women also need to now learn to say, okay, we want vulnerable men. Okay, how do I listen to a vulnerable man, a vulnerable man, without bringing my own feelings to the table? Because a lot of times, so that is why I say, more women think that they are ready, but they're not. I've had conversations with ladies who were saying that same thing, that, oh no, men should be talking. Inside our conversation there, I said something. I never talk finish. She was already telling me her own that, okay, no, let's even turn the table. If it's a woman now, uncle, what are you going to say? I said, do you know you didn't just listen to me? Just now, we're having this same conversation here as friends. I stated something personal. You still did not listen to me. You quickly turned it and say, what of women? If women are also going through the same thing. We women, I said, do you realize that just here, if I were your boyfriend, for example, you've just silenced me and you did not notice. So how many women are really ready to answer? Women will say, I saw a woman who also put up that post not too long ago that a lot of men right now also just want to be ladies. I said, that may not be the case. Men also want to be heard. Men also want to be seen.
But if
we're bringing a balance into the whole thing, men still there where they talk of DNA issue. As part of the reason why they don't even want to get married.
That is a separate conversation.
Because that one on his own.
These extra zogs that we even talk, but because thank you so much, guys. Honestly, we wish we can just push this a little longer, but the conversation continues under this podcast. You can just totally go to town and give us your mad opinions. None of us know it all. We will talk from what we know. Yeah. But you guys have the opportunity to add your own discourse to it. Maybe I'm not seeing it right. Maybe he's not seeing it right. Yeah. But we need to discuss some more on that particular.
I think that part of what maybe, like you said, we'll discuss some more, right? But where I'm thinking that this entire kind of conversation, at the moment, if we want to make progress with this particular type of conversation, because this gender war thing is not helping any of the genders.
It's not discuss gender war.
So that's where it is stemming from. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's about gender. People are flawed.
But if we're going to look at that, we're all humans. Yeah. And there's nobody that is fallible. I myself have discovered a lot of vulnerability with me, even as I'm growing older. You have known me for a couple of years. Yeah. I can tell you that the trajectory of my life and what I live now is different from what I would have expected.
Yeah.
For you to know that sometimes life just gives us what it gives us. And it's either you know how to make lemonade or you make lemon cake. Or some people just eat the lemon and sit down. In all this make lemonade, it's not everybody that will make lemonade.
Everybody will.
Some people will lick the lime and they will sit down there, their teeth will be set on edge, whether they like it or not. But that's how far we can go on today's
Let's hear from you guys.
Podcast.
Right? Why do you think men are not getting married? And are women ready for vulnerable men?
So discuss, this particular podcast, share it. Let's have these conversations. Maybe when everybody can just they say when yam scatter oil. Let's all put it and put it back together. Maybe we can become a little better.
Yeah, and not just argue just because one gender wants to win the argument. Because that is the problem we're having.
Let's be objective.
Today. Yeah.
Let's be objective.
And comprehend properly.
All right, from me, I'll say thank you and we'll see you the next time.
Bye-bye.